This episode may contain strong language and adult themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Right, okay.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because this is a family show, as you know, welcome to episode 31 of the 22 Dropouts. Thank you to Phil, my ring master, for introducing Monty Python. Phil, say hello.
Hello.
How are you? Donald, hello, sir. Sorry, that one, isn't it?
Big day this week. Big day this week.
It's the big day this week. What?
I mean, huge.
Have you voted yet? Did you do it by post?
Yeah, I vote. No, not by post.
Have you voted though? Because I thought the election wasn't like till tomorrow. So
No, but we
isn't
can
that
vote.
called electoral fraud?
No, we can vote up to 4 times before the election day.
4 times.
To vote 4 times. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. And you worry about Somalia, for fuck's sake. I mean,
not worried
come on.
about Somalia.
It's just in case you change your mind.
No, so the Russians can change it.
They actually have.
I was going to introduce everybody one by one, but as we're all diving in at Phil, say hello, everybody. It's like Celebrity Squares. Just wave at
Hey,
me.
hello, how
Yay.
you doing?
They actually
so-
allow certain states, if you cast an early vote, you could go back in and change your vote.
Oh, no, that's just fucked up.
No kidding.
That's properly fucked up. How can
No, it
you
makes
go,
sense.
one day I want to vote for somebody, and the next day I want to vote for somebody else? No wonder you lot are screwed over there.
Oh, yeah.
It makes sense. When the wind changes, you've got to make your decision snap.
They've
When
sold,
the wind changes, Sam
sold
if you
more
notice,
guns than people
Sam's
voted.
moustache falls from here down to his t-shirt.
Just imagine if the Hunter laptop would have came out a week earlier.
No, it is, guys. It is Movember. It is Movember. Yeah, and the only person who's bothered so far, we are only on the 2nd of November, and the only thing that's bothered so far is Sam's t-shirt, because you can't see Sam's top lip at all because it is so, mate. No.
Your eyebrows come down for a drink. His eyebrows come down for a drink.
we know what he's like at drinking. There'd be a lot more eyebrow
No.
there.
What we are going to do is, throughout the show tonight, we are going to drop little bits of clips in and photos in from when some of our guys and some of our guests have partaken in Movember. They won't know when it's coming until they watch the show on Friday when it comes out. And then I'll get all the shit on WhatsApp. Talking the shit on WhatsApp, I thought we'd just say hello to everybody else. So Julian's getting an old hat now since Julian dropped Pete in it, and then got bombed last week. Say hi, Julian.
Hiya.
How's things up there?
Not bad at all. I've got to be. I've
And
got rid of the
Pete-
kids, so my internet works now.
Oh, nice. And
They've gone
Pete's
back to
there
the weather
ready. Peter's ready, mate. Now listen, don't tell Sam, okay? Pete mailed me in the week and said after that bomb that Sam dropped on him at the end of last week's episode, he's got a fucking stormer to get him back with. But don't tell Sam, whatever you do, okay? Is that all right? Just dumb guys. Anyway, welcome to new lad, Peter. Peter, say hello.
Hello.
Peter. Hello, Peter. Tell us who you are and where you come from.
He's gay.
I don't come from the USA, but I have voted for Biden.
Pete, tell Phil why you're going to vote for Joe Biden. Off you go.
Because he's the better of the two.
I will also.
Is that it?
I'm not sure about either of them, to be honest, but I think he's better than the other one.
A good backdrop for a rugby.
And Phil, your response, please.
Where's the argument to that? If you vote for Biden and if he wins this week, fair enough. But if you vote for Biden, he won't remember what happened earlier in the week anyway.
Yeah, but that's why Crouchy votes for him, because he can't remember what he did last week either.
No.
Listen, mate, they've sold more guns in the USA than people have voted this week. Because they showed videos of the gun shops in America this morning. The bloke said, I'm not a gun shop, I'm an empty shop. And they've just got nothing. Well, he's bought everything.
We were just having that discussion about an hour ago. You haven't been able to buy a gun here in a long time because they're just going off the shelves.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, there's a real serious likelihood of a revolution in this country in January, this winter. I think it's very serious.
It could be worse. You could live in Scotland.
It's true.
There's going to be a revolution in Scotland soon as well.
Don't worry, there won't be.
There'll be a revolution when us lot go and build a fucking wall and put a gate on and put a big padlock there and say "fuck off."
They already did that once a few thousand years ago.
Are we going to talk rugby?
Yeah. I mean, Hadrian did it. It was only about that high, though.
We're going to talk rugby. We're going to talk politics.
Actually,
let's not talk about Scotland because there's no rugby in Scotland.
Don't say that to a Welshman right now.
Wait.
I said
Julian here. There's Julian here. Poor Welsh boy in the corner.
I know, I haven't said a bloody word yet about Scotland, and Wales game on Saturday. I haven't said a word yet.
Yeah,
well,
but right.
I'll tell you what, we'll come on to that in a second because it'd be a miss if you not to say hello to Ian.
Yeah, you should say hello to me because I think we gifted England the Six Nations this year. We gifted you that. If we hadn't beat France, you guys would never have won that tournament.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got rid of Ian now. I've muted him. Now, carry on. Sorry, Ian. You can't stop. No, Ian, I'm really intrigued actually because behind you is got to be the world's biggest ticket, and we love that. Show us, please. Show us, mate.
Yeah. So this is I'm actually in my friend Nuno's house. Nuno is Portuguese. He's a hooker for the Warsaw Frogs here in Warsaw. And we gifted him this for his 40th birthday. So we bought him a ticket for the match. And the guy went over to Japan and had a great time for like 3 or 4 weeks. Oh, yeah. So it's a good, I actually should have been in my own house, but I was out here protesting for women's rights in Warsaw this week. So today
if you grew a little bit longer beard and it went grey, you could look just like Lech Wałęsa.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, solidarity with the ladies.
I can tell you that sort of movement, lad. Yeah. No, I mean that is a fantastic backdrop, and to have the ticket blown up like that is awesome. I think that's absolutely stunning. So now we are going to get into rugby, and there's plenty for us to talk about from the weekend, Super Saturday as they call it, and a few other things. However, we know why we're here tonight. This is Retribution Night. We have already had What Goes on Tour Stays on Tour. Tonight's episode is What Goes on Tour Goes in the 22 Dropouts. And guys have been sending photos all week. So I just thought I'd start with this particular photo. Does anyone care to own up to this?
Yes.
Especially Julian.
May have been taken by
Julian,
my
do you
camera.
really want to own up to that?
That was Daniel who took that.
She's a very lovely young lady.
That is one of my very, very good friends, Maria, who is one of what is known as the protection squad at the Stockholm Tens. And the protection squad started, I invited one of my friends, she brought all her friends to the tournament maybe 10, 15 years ago. And they loved the rugby and the short shorts so much that they kept coming with pom-poms, sunblock for all the men's players so they could protect all the men. And they always carry a box of condoms if anyone needs one.
Okay, so my next
Maria
question
is a very good
if they're
friend of mine
protecting
and
the men with
good as well.
sunblock and they're protecting the men with condoms,
Well, they're protecting some of the men.
What are they protecting them from? Or is it themselves?
Ladies, I think.
Yeah.
Unwanted pregnancies.
Aren't they all?
The Scots don't know what that is. The Scots don't know what that is.
Rugby balls.
Protection squad.
Skin cancer as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Skin cancer as well. Now, there's a few other photos that we're going to share tonight. Sam's dreading this, by the way. Sam is absolutely bricking himself that what's going to come up on your screen. But that's Peter getting ready to go out on the pitch. Well done, Pete.
Crouch it, you.
Good.
It's a very sad reflection that the only referee left standing at the Stockholm 10 was me, because the rest of them were unfit and fallen over. And they,
to be honest, Pete, we knew you hadn't done the final before, and we thought, right, this might not happen again. We're not sure if the tournament's going to happen again. So we thought he has to do the final at least once. He's been coming that many times.
it was the only year at the Stockholm 10s when everybody in the final was pissed.
I think the Lofts were complaining that they didn't want to play during the final, if I remember rightly.
Now, how on earth, Pete, did Julian give you a final? Come on,
because he broke himself and everyone else was broken, and I was the only bloke that could walk with a stick.
That's about right.
I was only 58 years old at the time. It nearly killed me.
Oh dear! And if you notice at the top of your screen, boys and girls, Sam's getting even more worried now. Look at his little face. So, Sam, I'd like to share a photo of you. So here it comes, mate.
That's what she said.
Do explain this to us.
You mentioned it last week, Pete.
That's not mine, mate. That's a picture that belongs to a certain other gentleman, doesn't it, Pete?
That may be me that said that to Sam just to keep Pete happy, because he's the one who actually picked it.
I think I remember that girl stretching at the Warsaw Rugby Festival.
We did ask her to take that photo. We did ask her.
Yeah, twice. We asked her twice.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you really? Now,
I'm friends with her
Sam,
on Facebook.
Can you just explain to the world, to our millions of viewers, just why you're a little bit worried as to what we may show tonight?
I don't know, mate. Have something to do with a dodgy pic that's floating around, from a certain gentleman that you might stick up there. That's let's just say it's bears all.
So Pete, you talked about this last week, didn't you? And you suggested that there was a cracking photo of Sam. Just explain it before we see it.
Did you have to say cracking?
Cracking.
That pun was intended.
It wasn't, but yeah.
No, it wasn't.
So I entered the room to have a cracking view, and I was supposed to be rooming with Sam, and he fell asleep on me.
Okay. Now, just stand by then for this, because we need to see this in all its glory.
Oh, no.
And I'm afraid to say we've lost that photograph. Now, is that before or after the game, Ian?
That's actually during the game. And that was so in Eastern Europe we have a tournament called the Capitals Cup, and it goes round Budapest, Prague, Vienna, Warsaw, sometimes Berlin, sometimes Riga, sometimes Moscow if we can get a visa. And I wasn't supposed to be playing, but I took my kit and I said I would only play if someone got really, really seriously injured. And I didn't wish that on anyone, but one of the guys broke his arm in the first 5 minutes of the game, and then I had to go on. So I had to keep myself refreshed as I went along.
Clearly, do you know what? I remember years ago taking part in the Fat Bloke Sevens in Reading, and Ash Rowden was one of the refs all weekend, and this old prop that I knew from London Irish came on, and so it was all of the supporters. So the rules were, because it calls the Fat Blokes, you had to be either over a 40-inch waist, over 40 years old, or you couldn't run more than 40 meters without stopping for a beer.
I fit into all those categories, by the way.
Good lad, good lad. So Ash is there. My mate goes on, and he's got a fag in one hand and a pint of beer in the other. And he walks on just for one scrum, and he says to Ash, he went, "Will you hold these for me, mate?" Hunkers down. Ash does the old engage sequence. By the time he gets up, Ash has finished his pint and hands him an empty glass and a fag back. It's like, off you go, son. And he carried on refereeing. So, Ash,
Classic.
we love you for stuff like that. Good lad. Now we've seen all the photos, and we've not really seen the embarrassing one of Sam. Although, if you look at the picture of Sam's face right now, he is very relieved. It's like he's just been for a wee-wee. Because the messages that have been coming through...
You had me there for a bit, you want.
Sam knew what photo we've got of him, and he don't you dare, don't you fucking dare, no. And that's it, no, I hate you. And we wouldn't, Sam, because it is that embarrassing. In fact, it's so embarrassing, we're going to show it just before we go to the break, and here it is.
Not getting shared on fucking web.
So, guys, that's the first part. First part done. So what we'll do, yeah, thanks, Sam. I'm just reading the message. Don't you fucking put it. Don't you dare. Don't you stick it up, you wanky. That's what I've got on this screen.
You should put it up there with a big black mark right across the whole thing.
No, because that's already there. That's already there. This big black ass.
When you need clear and concise match official communication systems, look no further than the brand new AXIWE AT350.
Radios they're always useful, they always help us, especially AXIWEs, where all three of us can be open at any time, we can have open communication.
Available now from refcomsglobal.net. Investing profits into match official development worldwide.
Welcome back to part 2 of the 22 dropouts. I do hope you enjoyed the photo gallery. I do hope that you enjoyed your very exclusive picture of Mr. Sam. Hi, Sam. Don't forget, we are on social media as well. You can check us out. Just search at 22 dropouts on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. Now, guys, I suppose we've got a bunch of rugby people, which is unusual because sometimes we don't. Normally, it's just a bunch of referees who haven't got a fucking clue, apparently. So, who watched the Six Nations at the weekend?
Me, for sure.
Ian, have you got something to say about England's glorious win in the Six Nations this weekend?
Well, honestly speaking,
that's enough. Thank you very much. Anyway, moving on.
It was less glorious than it should have been. It was less glorious. They didn't put any pressure on Ireland at all, and then Ireland went and dumped it to France. So what can we say?
Now, just tell me, what did you think of Wales's performance, mate?
I think the defence was okay, but they weren't. I mean, they were usual. They were their usual self. It's just Scotland were a little bit better.
Scotland no attack.
Scotland were a little less shit.
I genuinely thought that the whole game was an absolute mess. Honestly, it's one of the worst games. Worst games of rugby I've actually watched in a long time, and you can't just blame the weather because the.
Oh no, you've got to blame the wind. You've got to blame the wind. Every
player
didn't want to be there. But one good thing came out of that, apart from the win, is that Scotland actually managed to get a win away from home. That's number one, and two, we actually ground out a result of a shit game, which is something Scotland doesn't usually do. So.
Yeah, but Wales are used to playing in front of crowds, Sam, and Scotland simply aren't.
Yeah.
No, Pete, I was about to be nice to Sam because we normally take the wet because of Scotland, and
I think we have to say that. No, I think we have to say that Scotland are better at training games.
But what did we do to actually lose 2 bloody fly halves? Finn Russell and fucking Hastings. What the hell?
Oh, they pulled muscles, didn't they?
Yeah,
Have they got any?
I wonder if they're out for the rest of this year now.
Well,
Yeah, it's the shocking year anyway. They might as well be out.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I'm sure I read something that Finn was suffering as of this morning and could well be out for a number of weeks.
Yeah, not good.
That can't be good for Scotland because who else have you fucking got?
Well, Hastings, but he's still coming up, isn't he? He's not the finished
Hastings
article,
is fine. Hastings is a good player. He can I was going to say substitute, but he can stand his own. I mean, he did it throughout the first half of the Six Nations. Finn fucked himself from drinking too much at the beginning of the training session. So, Hastings did quite well at the beginning. The game against France, Hastings was outstanding.
Yeah. Hastings is a type of fly half though that really enjoys front football. Whereas Finn can actually create something when he's under pressure as well.
Tell me if I have that's
Hastings hasn't got that yet.
Front foot.
I don't think.
Hang on. Whoa. Time out, boys. Time out. You're starting to talk about rugby, right? Fucking stop it. You sounded like rugby knows it. That's not what we're here for. Don't go down the road. We are not Joe, okay? We are not James Haskell. Even my lid's better than his. And even Sam's rig is better than his. Don't go there.
So can I just say that years ago we were at some sort of rugby tournament. I first ever met Julian, and Wales had just beaten Japan. Japan had just beaten Wales, and we were there, and he was running past, and somebody said, "Oh, Julian," he said, "Oh, you're see Japan just beat Wales." He said, "I'm not Welsh.
No,
I'm Swedish."
Somebody asked me, have you seen the Japan-Wales result? And I said, I'm Swedish today, that's okay.
Yeah, and he got slated in Kangaroo Court.
Brutalised in court.
In court for that. Changed his allegiance.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I think if I was Welsh this weekend, I might be with you there, Jules.
No, this weekend I wasn't too worried about. But we got
beat
by a better team.
Really?
Did anybody think that actually England improved it?
Does
anybody think that England did a good job this Six Nations at all? Were they the team that's improved?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't look
but then
like,
again, I blame Chris Robshaw and his band of merry men for going out on the piss last weekend.
Was that not England's
we couldn't have had a warm-up game.
Was that not England's strongest squad out near enough against Italy?
No, get rid of Youngs and put Dan Robson in. Job done.
Well, telling you honestly, I'm not being funny.
And that's only because Dan's coming on the show in a couple of weeks.
I thought there would have been 50 points plus on that game for England, but
I mean, all the predictions were they were going to put 50 plus points on Italy, and they were going to put pressure on Ireland, and that actually didn't happen. And I don't know if that was a bad thing for Ireland, but France came out this weekend and played the game, so you can't knock France. I really say you can't knock France at the moment, and England did not perform the way everybody thought. I thought Italy did a lot better than people predicted, and if you follow what your under-12 coach ever said, rather than Eddie Jones, if you kick the ball away to the opposition, you can't score a try. Keep the fucking thing in hand and run.
Yeah.
It's not. This is not a hard game if you play it easy.
We're still talking about Wales and Ireland, Wales and Scotland.
Yeah, we'll get there.
That's all they did.
Nobody wanted to kick in that weather.
That's all they did was kick to each other.
I don't understand why though. It's internationally. It's always windy.
Yeah.
They didn't want to run into contact.
Now, if they'd have been at the old Llanelli ground, mate, you wouldn't have been able to see the ball if it was kicked because it's always.
Hang on. Italy-England match. I think there was 20 minutes where all they did was kick from their own 22.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the problem. That's the problem. It played into Italy's hand. If England had kept it in hand, taken the contact, recycle, pull the Italian defence in, go for the gaps, you'd have seen a very different game. We kicked and they kicked back.
I quite enjoyed Italy doing all right in the first half.
Yeah, I think it was a good game. It was a good game for Italy.
I'm just gonna own up right straight off the bat here. Does anybody know how the first half of the Scotland game went?
I thought you were going to announce that you're gay.
Oh,
I thought he was going to say, there's a photo of me showing my ass in a hotel room.
No. We'll leave.
Was it 6-3 at halftime?
I mean, the most shocking thing is that after the first line out, where the ball didn't go straight because of the wind, they didn't start pumping it to the front.
Yeah.
They were throwing the balls all the way to the back.
Was that how Wales scored their first try, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You mean first try, the only try?
Not even 10 meters out,
No, we had
right?
two.
From their own try line, and they go for a tail ball. Scotland still making those shitty decisions at crucial times. Go for the tail ball. Replay of was it 2015 World Cup with Craig Joubert?
Yeah.
Yeah. Piss them down in the rain. Let's have a throw in.
Get over it.
No, we'll never get over. We're Scottish.
No.
We could have been in the final.
We should have an Australian in the room right now.
Meanwhile, the game is evolving. The game evolves.
Now, I think we've talked enough about the Six Nations. Who watched Bledisloe Cup number 3?
Yeah, missed it.
I saw some of it, not all of it.
Missed it.
I saw some highlights after.
Did you? Pete, because you've been very, very quiet, and there's only one reason that somebody comes on this show and is very quiet, and that's
his name's not Lawrence.
What you're going to say about them.
This is the first time I've been here, and I'm sussing that Pete Steniford out. Steniford, do you want to hear it?
No, yeah, go on. Of course we do.
All right then. So I met this bloke called Steniford out in Stockholm when he was hanging out of a hotel window with a young lady. She was also hanging out the window, and they were both all on the ground floor. We were all having a drink and waving at him and her. What we didn't know is he was actually hanging out of her at the same time.
Wait, it gets better because she was wearing a Pikachu outfit for a
Yeah, she was dressed as Pikachu.
Mate, the stories about you just get better and better every time you come on the show.
Yeah, but
I've got another story for it about Steniford in Warsaw. And Pete was being a bit clever on the first night, and he set my room up for an alarm call at 4 o'clock in the morning, which went down.
Oh, you were one of those, were you?
Yeah, it went down like a hole in the head, really. Anyway, on night 2, Steniford thinks, Crouch is in 83. He says, I'll set him up for another one at 4 o'clock, but he got the room number wrong. So on the Sunday at Walsall, we were talking to this old fella about 70 from Ireland, who's like a spectator with this Irish team, I think.
Yeah.
And we went, you look a bit tired, mate. And he said, yes, some knobhead fucking alarm called my room last night. And it was Steniford gave the wrong room number. But it gets better.
Pete, I've got to say, we would laugh more, but this is the third time we've heard the story about Pete.
I know, I've heard it.
And what happened the third night?
So we've heard about Pete.
Wait.
Practical jokes.
What happened on the third night?
On the third night, Pete Steniford, being a clever bastard, thought he'd unplug his phone so he didn't stitch me up. The fucking receptionist came in my room at 4:30 because she thought my phone was broken. It stunk in that room. The 2 blokes farting all night. She came in and went, hello, you need to get up, you've got a flight. And I turned around, I think I was Stark Pollock at the time, and I went, you can fuck right off.
So, Peter, we know. Crouchy. I'll call him Crouchy.
Yeah.
Crouchy. We know that you have been stitched up right royally by Pete. We know that mainly because of Julian. Julian dropped Pete in it a couple of weeks ago. Pete confessed, and he has made public his apology to Belfast Rugby Club last week. So now we invite people on, which is why we invented Steny on to actually call out Julian. So now it's your turn, Peter. Peter Crouch, it is your turn now to to say to Pete Stentiford what you would like to say, and also to bring up any other of his little misdemeanors whilst on tour. Sir Peter Crouch, the floor is yours.
Jesus Christ. Well, when Steniford was in Stockholm, he was either playing rugby or shagging. That was how I remember him most of the time, to be quite honest. Do you know what? I can't think of him. Wherever he is, he's being a complete bellend.
Give us more details about his bellendness.
No.
And when we were in Warsaw, he said that he told the owner of his pub that he couldn't pay the rent, and then Steniford standing on the table drinking pints of beer on Facebook.
Do you know what? I do see the first moment that air travel opens up, Phil, that we have a good team here to come to your first tournament over in Vegas next year.
Yeah, Vegas tournament, definitely.
Can you imagine us lot on tour? We were going to talk about the Bledisloe Club. I was going to ask you questions about the.
Would you freaking change the subject?
Do you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, Ian,
Listen,
go for it,
Bledisloe Cup. Basically, there's nothing to say about the Bledisloe Cup. New Zealand absolutely pulled the pants down of Australia, and there's nothing else to say about that. It was just a masterclass in rugby, and nobody could compete with that.
So,
how did the winger get on? Or was it the centre, the young lad that looks like the new Lumo?
Oh,
did he play?
Callum.
Yeah, he got 2 tries, didn't he?
Yeah.
He looks like an absolute animal, doesn't he? It's like a replica of Lumo.
You guys watch rugby far more detail than I do. I can tell you that for nothing. You lot are proper rugby fucking noses. Yeah, I've said it.
Ian, stories.
Stories. Okay, who's not been to the Warsaw Rugby Festival? Have you all been?
Just
Phil's not
I
been.
haven't.
Phil or Mike?
Phil and Mike haven't been. Why not?
You haven't fucking invited me yet.
Right.
Well,
No invite.
consider yourself invited for the next one, 2021.
Stop doing that. I try and organise all the bloody refs, and we always have too many.
Mate, no, seriously, hang on a minute. Hang on. Serious point here. You can never have too many refs at a tournament. Sam knows that. How many did we take to the international warm-up, Sam? The answer is just enough. Just enough.
You know, if you want stories, right, okay, in the early days of the Warsaw Rugby Festival, we were just building the thing up, and we were getting, you know, maybe 10 teams, maybe, I don't know, let's say 200 people coming. I wanted to make the Sunday night dinner spectacular, absolutely spectacular. So I spent my weeks before the tournament going to the strip joints, trying to get some girls to come and do lap dances. You know, I had fireworks organised. I wanted to do like the One World in Union, you know, like the music, the fireworks, then the girls up on the tables, great stuff. I went to all the strip joints. I said, girls, look, because they don't work on a Sunday, right? The girls work all week. They don't work on a Sunday.
And of course, you'd know that, wouldn't you?
Was it day rest?
I knew the other days, and I kept going. And one girl said, yeah, I could probably get 2 or 3 girls to come. I said, okay. So she got 3 girls to come. They turned up, they did a couple of dances, put their clothes on, and then they were treated like ladies the whole night. Rugby players, and they looked after them. It was really good fun. So next year I went back and said, we've got the rugby tournament again. Do you think you girls would come back? She said, I've got a whole list. I've got 20 girls who want to come. I said, well, okay, I can only afford maybe 10. So then the next year we had 10 girls. Fast forward a year, out for dinner with my friends. One girl was from New York who wanted to go back to New York, and she said, let's go to Sofia Arena, get some tits and ass before I go home. I was like, really? Really want to go there? So we went. My wife was with me, which wasn't, you know, it was the first time I'd ever entered a strip joint with my wife. But anyway, we went
Don't knock it till you tried it.
And did they say, "Hi Ian, how are you? Hi Ian, how are you?"
Yeah,
That's the story. Let's slow down here, Ian. Let's slow down. Let's focus on your wife going to the strip club.
Yeah, so this is the point, right? So we get there, everybody runs in. I'm paying the taxi driver, paying the doorman for the entries and stuff. Start walking across the lobby. Girl comes out with her bikini and her shoes in her hand, completely naked. She's walking across and she goes, "Ian!" She comes running over. She jumps on me. My wife's giving me the fucking daggers like this. Oh, Jesus Christ.
No.
And I said, "No." I said,
Oh.
"No, that's Mariola. That was the girl that I persuaded to come and do the dancing the first year. And she's loved doing it ever since." And she said, "There's no way you're getting a dance in here tonight. No way." I was like, "Okay." She said, "I'm dancing." So she went round and she looked at all the girls. She picked a girl and she took the girl into the corner, and the girl's going to town on my wife. And there's a guy standing behind me, silver ponytail, denim fucking tuxedo. And the guy's standing behind me, and all I could hear was, I was like, "Mate, for fuck's sake, that's my wife we're looking at." And he said, "Really? Which one?"
I got that bombshell. It's time to take a break. We'll see you right after this.
So here we are trialling the Axie Sport 250 open ear headset. It's really useful because they don't actually go in your ear, they just rest on the outside, so you can still hear your surroundings. So if you're out on the jog, you can hear any cars coming past. If you're out on the canal, you can hear any cyclists. It's really useful if you're with people. You know, if you want to listen to music, listen back to what you've recorded, you can still listen to other people's input while you've got what's happening playing. They're really comfortable, you know, they're really sturdy, really designed. They don't move while you're running, they don't bounce up and down like other wireless headsets do. So yeah, they're really good in that sense.
So welcome back to part 3 of tonight's, what is it, episode 31 of the 22 Dropouts. Now, for those of you who perhaps don't know, we started right at the beginning of lockdown, and we just decided to have a beer together from all over the world, guys getting together, and some idiot called Sam said this would make a great show. And so we've started the show and the podcast, and we've been going ever since. So just check out our social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for @22 Dropouts. Now, how long is this going to go on for? Well, I tell you what, the more lockdowns we have, the longer we'll keep going. Now, Mr. Trump has got to go tonight, I'm afraid. Good night, POTUS, and we will see you next week.
Thank you all. You guys had a huge show.
Hi, Phil.
Hey, that's fake news. Fake news. This is not a huge show.
Yeah. Take care,
this is
guys.
the smallest show anybody's ever been on.
Mind
and
drink your detergent, Donald.
Thank you, guys. Ciao.
So what we're going to do, because somebody else has got to go for his hang his neeps and tatties soon, and he is a guest tonight. We don't call Julian a guest anymore. He's been on more than once. We don't call Mr. Stentiford a guest anymore because he's just funny as fuck with everything he says. And he dropped
that made sense. That made sense completely. Mike, well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, listen, Julian's a good lad, but Pete's funny as fuck. End of. The way it goes.
Oh, God, sorry, no argument there.
But Ian's got to go because his wife or the stripper is going to be calling in for dinner very soon. So we're going to say, there's no holes barred here, Ian. Last week, right at the end of the show, Sam, who was quiet all night, dropped the bomb and put Pete right back into that moment when he went ugly early and realized he needed to chew his arm off, gone into a locked courtyard and had to Jimmy open the window of a lady's toilet of a restaurant. Absolutely shocking. I mean, I'd never say anything like that about my roommates, although I've got a few stories about Sam that I can tell. And we've seen the photos of Sam's room escapades tonight. Look at him. He's got no idea what's going to come out in post-production at all. And he's still shitting himself. So, Ian, over to you to drop the absolute nuclear bomb on these boys that you've been on tour with.
Wait, these guys here? They've all been on tour to me. I've never been on tour with them.
Same thing.
Is it the same thing?
No tournament we've been with you.
I mean,
yeah, you guys have only been
you can go anywhere you want, but actually, if you look around the screen, it's going to be much more fun if it involves one of these guys.
Julian or Sam, I guess. Julian.
Sam's face again. He's really worried now.
I think Julian and I think there's a lady referee in Warsaw that it might be worth talking about. A little session you had with maybe not talk about that. Is this no holds barred or what?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Julian, tell me, did you go there? That's the question.
No. Stenty might.
Without a doubt, never. Not even once. Okay, did she go there with you? I mean, what's the...
Not with me, but Pete?
No. With Pete, maybe? Sam?
No, it never went near me.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
If a lady's going to go there with anybody, it's going to... if I was to put the people in order, it would be Peter, Sam, and then Julian.
I thought Crouchy would have come before me there.
In that order.
Crouchy
normally does. I don't know Crouchy that well
normally does come first.
It's not height order then. It's not height order.
If that picture of mine freaking goes viral, mate, it'll be freaking Pete, chicken Ian, Julian, Mike, then Crouchy, and then me.
No, I can't drop a bomb on those guys. To be honest, when they come to Warsaw, they do us a massive favour refereeing a bunch of fucking wasters playing rugby for 2 days, steaming drunk. And if anybody, I'd like to sing their praises actually for putting up with the shit they put up with over that weekend.
Yeah, Walsall's the tournament where it really does have a drinking problem. And they play a little bit of rugby.
Yeah, it's
it has a rugby problem.
The rugby loses emphasis in Warsaw. Yeah,
it's the only time I've been to where people complain in the final the other team are too sober.
Yeah, sometimes they complain they're too sober. That's true.
Yeah.
Some very young referees have been to Warsaw and have never been back ever again, and they were so shell shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anybody been to the Warsaw? So here's a question then, coming on from Crouchies. Has anybody gone to Warsaw as a referee and then not made it home the way they were supposed to?
I think there's one guy for sure, Sam. I think you had a problem getting home at one point, no?
Yeah, I had to crash at your pad for one night, didn't I? Because my flight was the next day. Yeah. And
that was so amenable.
Yeah, that was
brilliant. I would have told them to fuck off.
That was a much appreciated favour, which will be repaid on my return visit, my friend.
No worries.
What, strip joint?
Aye, as long as his wife's there.
No,
I
can't go there. I can't go there anymore.
Which wife, Ian?
All right, guys. The current one, obviously.
Let Ian go. Ian's going to get shot.
Former.
Ian's going to get shot.
Right, guys, I'm going to say good night and thanks very much for letting me in.
No, it's been lovely, mate, and you're welcome back anytime.
No worries.
On the second journey on this, it's much easier to drop people in the shit because you get
good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I've got plenty more. I've got plenty more what goes on tour stories, so I mean, I can think them all up for the next time. Don't worry.
Good man.
You're on next Monday night. Have your dinner before we start.
I will do. I I won't go any women's rights protests next week. I promise.
Yeah.
No.
What way to do that?
Have a good night.
I bet your woman told you to do that.
No, my daughter told me to do it. That was even better. All the best, guys. Take care.
Cheers, mate. See you later, buddy. Cheers, Ian. Thanks, mate.
Have you noticed how Mr. Crouch is on the phone to his solicitor right now? Checking what he can say.
And he's just
Ian, I gotta say,
just beat himself up.
He's either doing that, or he's saying, "Can I have a chicken jalfrezi, please?"
Well, Ian gave us all a compliment right there, but I still remember Ian at one tournament. There was this absolute dickhead from Northampton Casuals who was pissed as a fart and actually started a fight with one of the referees, to the point where I've told them we're not carrying on unless he's told to fuck off.
Yeah.
And Ian, this guy came up and complained about the standard of refereeing at this tournament. He was drunk as a skunk. Ian took one look at me. I was standing next to him when he heard this, because Ian's got this massive microphone all tournament, and he starts commentating over all the games, organising drinking games, organising cheerleaders, all sorts of stuff. He works his ass off all weekend. He's always got a beer or a whiskey in his hand. And he turned around and said, I just had a complaint about, on the microphone, I just had a complaint about the standard of refereeing at this tournament. And all I'm going to say is you've got 3 current international referees at this tournament, a number of high-level referees from the RFU. So whoever said that can just fuck off on this microphone across the whole tournament. Fucking loved him for it.
You know, and I hope that guy never took to the pitch again for the rest of the weekend.
No, it was a spectator.
He wasn't even playing. He was a bloody spectator.
What's the name of the lad, the Scots lad that comes out every year and he gets absolutely smashed out his head?
Ian.
What's his name again?
Something like Mumbo or Jumbo or something.
It's oh my god, I can't believe
Ian would remember as well.
Yeah.
So last year, right, he got absolutely
Sumo.
Nearly right. Right, so big lads, stout Scottish lad, like proper rugby lad, got absolutely smashed out of his head last year, and I think this was on the Saturday. He got absolutely buggered up and all the rest of it, and then on Sunday he looked lost, like completely lost. Do you remember?
Well, I can give you a good story. First time I met Sumo at this tournament, he was there and he was drinking with all the Dalil boys. They're knocking it back constantly. They just come there to get pissed, and they play rugby in the gaps just to have a break. And he got so hammered. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he's got so hammered, he's actually fallen over and passed out in the food tent. Yeah, vomited out of his mouth. But me and one of the guys.
Where else are you going to vomit, mate? Come on.
All right, good point. Well, he could have done it out of his arse. You never know. He's vomited on the floor. Run over to check on him. Put him in the recovery position. Somebody's called an ambulance. He comes round about when the ambulance turns up. They stick him on the gurney. The gurney creaks a bit because he's a big bloke. And he's like, yay! As they give him a tunnel, as they push in the trolley down the tunnel.
Yeah.
As they
thing, yeah.
They stick him on fluids, look after him in the hospital. 4 hours later, he's back.
Good lad.
He's had the drip in his arm. He said, I'm feeling much better now. They told him you shouldn't drink anymore this weekend. You're really, really hydrated. You should stay here. He went, fuck that. I'm feeling fantastic. Apparently pulled the drip out of his arm, climbed into the hospital, got in a taxi and came straight back to the ground and grabbed himself a pint. He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. But I tell you,
no, he's a legend. He's a legend. He's like the guy the last tour I went on as a player, and we went to Marbella, to the Marbella Vets, and we went there for the Friday night dinner, and staying at this seedy 2-star hotel in Fuengirola. It was a fucking shithole. And we got there, and we to all the guys from Basildon RFC who were over there at the time and won almost every trophy because they bought their first 15 and their wives. I mean, Sam, why would you take your missus on tour with you?
I don't know. Don't get
it. So my mate said, and at the end of the Friday night dinner, he's squaring up to this bloke, right, from Basildon. He's about 6'6". The guy from Basildon has shaved this side of his hair and this side of his beard. He looked like a fucking chessboard, and they're squaring up to them to each other. So he says, "Mike, I think you better go in." It's like, why is it always me? I walked up to my mate, tapped him on the shoulder from the back. He swung this punch as slow as you can ever imagine, like, mate. And I just went, boom, slapped him across the face, and he went,
Salt.
"Oh, did he sulk?" I just pointed and went, "Taxi now," and he just went. Off he went. It's funny when they piss like that.
Where I was going with the sumo thing was that he came back on the Sunday. He was there on the Sunday. I think he'd slept on the fucking ground, to be honest with you. And he looked absolutely lost. And I said to him, "What's up with you?" He's like, "I've lost my bag. I've lost my fucking wallet, my fucking tickets, my everything." And I was like, "Oh, fucking hell, mate." So we had a look around, couldn't see anything. I said, "Hold on." I said, "Have you asked at the bar?" He's like, "Nah." So they'd actually found, whoever it was, actually found his bag and actually stuck it behind the bar, right? And it just shows you the kind of, rugby people the way they are. You've got nationalities from everywhere, and everybody's smashed out their head, but they found a fucking bag, a proper bag, like with all his kit, and stuck it behind the bar, like instead of fucking half-inch and throw it in the bloody forest, like.
It's what we do it for, isn't it?
Yeah.
The rugby family, I think everybody calls it. Now, Mr. Crouch, have you finished ordering your jalfrezi?
Nah, I'm going to apologise. That's my dad's 86 and living on his own, and
Well, he wanted a jalfrezi.
Yeah, he wouldn't know how to.
No, that's fair enough, mate.
The silly bastard decided to live in Wales 20 years ago, and now he's stuck on his own. He's too far from me. Go and look after him, especially during lockdown. But every Wales once in their life, except that silly fucker never came back.
Well, there is that. Which part of Wales was it? Was it a nice part or one of those
No,
shit
he's
areas?
in a place called Dinis Powys, just outside of Cardiff. Julian calls it God's country. I've been there a lot in my lifetime, but I still can't find the God bit yet.
Well,
Sorry. I thought you said it was Dog's country then.
Julian reckons it's God's country, but I've been there, going there a lot, and I'm not sure what he's on about. What's this God?
I'm pretty sure it's because there's been enough plagues, storms, and they send in all the locusts every 5 years.
I thought it was called Sheep's Country. Isn't it, Julian? Sheep
shagging country.
Yeah.
I've got a picture. Julian, can you put that picture up of the...
I'll send it over to Mike.
Is the Bishop's Cup in Zurich in Switzerland, when a rather petite, attractive female referee called Georgina walked out on the pitch, and the players asked if they could have a naked rugby match. And she said, as long as one team puts socks on, then I can identify the two sides. And that's what the photo is that I sent to Julian.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that, and I'm just struggling to see which ones have got socks.
And then there's a second picture.
That's a penalty, that.
Coming through the tunnel. Can you pick that one
all
up?
All day long, yeah, that's a penalty, yeah. That's what you were looking for.
Yeah, hang on. And this is how you finish a game?
Yeah. What she didn't realise was that as she went past them, they all ran round so they could clap her again. So the tunnel lasted about 15 minutes. And she's a legend for that game.
No, Pete, when was the last time you ran through a group of naked men while they all cheered and clapped you?
Steniford's done it. He likes that thing.
Hey, Julian,
Yeah.
do you still have the Walsall WhatsApp chat?
Yes.
Yeah.
The photos on there are brutal. There was a naked rugby match at Walsall as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's the one he was on about there.
That's what I said to Sam.
Hey, Julian, are you seeing somebody now? Or are you single again?
No.
I am seeing someone. Why?
Oh, okay. Right.
I do believe that when you were in Vegas, Mr. Bevan made that fatal error of loaning you his phone, didn't he?
Well, my phone broke, and Julian lent me
what
his
did you
spare
do
phone.
with Julian's phone?
I didn't. To be fair, I was very good, but
But
Julian was single at the time, and there was lots of Tinder matches and Tinder. I didn't know what Tinder was till I met Julian.
Yeah, bullshit.
But no, honestly. And then I had to go to Julian and say, "Oh, Julian, I've got all this stuff." He said, "Right, well, I'll have my phone back." He took the phone back off me. I was very, very calm. The amount of shit was
what
on there.
What did you do? Did you do swipey lefty or swipey righty on some of those girls for you?
It was swipe right on a few. Or did you swipe on my? You can't.
Just for the listeners who and watchers who don't know, and me, because I've got no fucking idea, which is left and which is right on Tinder?
Don't know.
Does it matter? Let's put it this way: whatever Pete did, I didn't get a single fucking match.
Maybe he updated your profile, Jules.
Oh God, no! I know what you fucking. It was you, was it? Somebody back from somewhere. I was suddenly no longer a fucking. I was a man, but I was looking for men on Tinder. Was it you that did that? You little shit! I was wondering. I got back to Sweden.
Hashtag you heard it here first.
Until now, Pete, I've never known who did that.
Sorry.
Oh, brilliant.
I suddenly got like 40 matches with some guy called Bernard.
Bernard.
No, Bernie. Bernie liked it.
Bernie
liked it. Yeah.
Bernie liked him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that, and I'm just struggling to see which ones have got socks.
And then there's a second picture.
That's a penalty, that.
Coming through the tunnel. Can you pick that one
all
up?
day long. Yeah, that's a penalty. Yeah, that's what you were looking for.
Yeah, hang on. And this is how you finish a game.
Yeah. What she didn't realise was that as she went past them, they all ran round so they could clap her again. So the tunnel lasted about 15 minutes. And she's a legend for that game.
No, Pete, when was the last time you ran through a group of naked men while they all cheered and clapped you?
Steniford's done it. He likes that thing.
Crouchy?
Yeah.
You've been to Stockholm a few times. Can you explain to me how you ended up in bed with two women and didn't get any? Both of them referees.
Can you keep your voice down, Julian?
His wife's in the room.
Julian Campbell, can you whisper the answer?
I was sharing a room with an international referee, and I got into my room at 2 a.m, and I couldn't get in there for obvious reasons. So I lay at the door where these two women found me, and they took me into their room and pushed the two single beds together and stuck me in the middle. And they said, if you lay a single finger on us, we'll punch your lights out. And so I went to sleep and woke up in the morning on the floor because the single beds had parted and I was between them. And I didn't have a clue how I got there. I've still really remembered how I ended up from the corridor on the floor of in between these two single beds. But much to say was, I clearly wasn't up to anything else because I don't remember. Bless these things.
And do you know what? On that bombshell, I think that's a great time to leave tonight's show. It's been a great night again. Guys, you just got to come on every week from now on, especially when we have some special famous guests, because I think you'll encourage them to loosen their lips the way you guys do. It's been an absolute pleasure. Great to see Ian tonight and Phil, Mr. Trump. Great to see Pete for the first time, and Julian again, who's becoming a bit of a regular. So we'll see you next week, Julian. And if any of you want to join us next week, you can do.
And thank you to Phil and Ian as well.
I've done that bit, you tit.
Oh, what a shame! I drowned your noise out again. Mute.
Well, Sam fucks right off. I'm going to say goodnight from me and from the guys on the 22 and from the guests tonight. It's good night, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Yeah, guys, take care. Look after yourselves.